I don't know if I can do this in less than 9 minutes. You guys might have quite a bit of. Mr. Mitchell, you still there?
It's Mrs. Mitchell.
Mrs. Mitchell, somebody, I'm sorry. Okay, she's not doing it. So listen, folks, at this juncture, it is past 8 o'clock. I'd love to hear your case, but unfortunately, we're just a little bit past time. Based upon what's going on, it is not, this is a commercial lease. And so I understand the urge and the necessity to have it heard early, but we're a little late here. I've read the pleadings. I do understand there's probably going to be quite a bit of dispute and communication about what's going on. And I'd rather hear that in person so that you guys can have it heard. Yep.
Your Honor, if I may, it's not a lease at all. I don't think this matter is even appropriate for your courtroom. It's not dispossessory in any way. There's no
not a dispossessory.
No, it's no landlord-tenant agreement in place.
Well, okay, real quick before I'll if I can get something resolved in 8 minutes, I will. Otherwise, I'll put it down for a reset. Both of you raise your right hand, okay? All right, Ms. Mitchell, quickly, do you have a written lease with Mr. Robinson or a company that he owes?
No, as I said, this is not a typical landlord-tenant situation. But I will tell you what the issue is.
Yes, ma'am.
I am the surviving founder of the ministry of the church located at 5268 Snapfinger Woods Drive.
Yes, ma'am.
Truth Tabernacle. I have led this ministry since 2008 with my late husband. And after his passing in 2021, I continued as the sole leader. I never resigned. I never transferred authority or appointed anyone else to take over at that time. Last week, I submitted documents to the court, which you probably looked at, and a revocation letter and supporting information. I want to briefly summarize the situation for clarity. Your Honor, the ministry was established and the building bought by my husband and me. No voting membership was ever created and no one else was ever given legal authority over the ministry or the property. In January of 2023, I invited Dr. Robinson to assist as pastor for the ministry. He was never added as a trustee, officer, or sole decision maker for financial issues, board transfer, voting rights. Neither were changes made to the requirements for one to be a member of Truth Tabernacle. The standards for membership never changed. To be a member of Truth Tabernacle, one has to be baptized in Jesus' name, filled with the Holy Ghost or filled with the Spirit, to be a tither and in good standing with the church. There was no contract, no agreement, and no transfer of authority to Dr. Robinson. I simply asked him to come in and help me to pastor the church, the ministry. Dr. Robinson was never the sole authority over certain aspects of the church. My intention was to give Dr. Robinson time to see how he leads and trust his and see his trustworthiness. Over time, he began acting without my permission, mishandling funds, making decisions about the building, and intimidating me. He never held proper meetings, never kept minutes, and never established membership. He and his spouse became very aggressive towards me, disrespectful, and he demanded at one point that I turn over everything to him. His continued intimidation and failure to speak with me regarding issues of financial matters. At times he was living in my house, and I know he has an anger.
Well, let me pause you because yes. I'm on a limited time period here to determine whether or not I can even hear the rest of this in person or virtually. What I'm understanding is were you trying to have him removed? Are you trying to remove him?
I would like
him
to have
personally?
Yes.
What is this place? Is this a church? Is it a home? What's going on?
The church, the church building, the church property, and and remove him as the pastor.
Well, I can't remove him as the pastor, right?
No, but what I am seeking is that to have him stop going to the property.
Well, hold on. Let me
Yes.
make. Does he live? Does he live
No.
at this? Okay.
No, he doesn't. He just hold services there, church services.
Okay. Well, if he doesn't live there, do you have a lease with him in some? I know you said you don't have any contract with him.
No, no,
Okay.
we did not make any agreement, neither verbally or written.
So he just has a key to, I assume he has a
Right,
key
and he
to the-
came on
to the
board after.
well, hold on. Let me just make
Okay.
sure I can summarize what I think I'm going on. He's come in to pastor the church, but in the limited, I guess, the position in your mind of pastoring and doing those things and not having any control over the financial and building. It sounds like that those things are starting to occur from his position, and you want to remove him in that way.
Yeah.
Okay, hold tight. I want to hear from Mr. Robinson. So,
Good
Mr.
evening.
Robinson, good.
Yes, sir.
I just want to confirm: you don't live at this location?
No, sir.
Okay, and you're just holding church services at this location.
Correct. Yes, sir.
Do you have a different church other than the one that Miss Mitchell has mentioned? Like, is it a different name now that you're operating under in this church?
No, sir.
Okay.
Very quickly, I don't think this case is
No,
appropriate.
I get it. I get it. Okay. Well, I don't know about, again, you wrote on here, he's failure to turn over premises upon notice of renovation or renaming property. But I'll say this, if there's it doesn't have to be a written lease. And if he's not a business, this is not necessarily a regular kind of situation. Having access doesn't have the same thing as relinquishing possession to a tenant, right? He just has access. I'm not going to give you any legal advice, but restricting access isn't necessarily achieved through a dispossessory. I don't know if you guys talked to the police or whatever and said that, but these are generally situations that are held and resolved more so between the church folks and the church, opposed to coming here and kind of airing that out. And if there's no real landlord, if he doesn't hold a lease, but maybe has a different kind of business relationship, if you're trying to cancel that, that might be a little different.
So what happened here, Your Honor? Where we are having this?
Well, what do you want him to do? Just curiously, do you want him to give back the key? Do you want to try to restrict his access?
I am asking the court to recognize my authority as the surviving founder and to prevent unauthorized control of the ministry.
Okay.
Any further, I have given him written notice to turn back over the ministry to me and to vacate the property.
I will be frank. As far as that might be something, particularly when you're saying to establish something, I would need to see more. And again, this doesn't, as my mediator indicated, this doesn't appear to be just on its face really a landlord-tenant situation. If you're saying you own the property, but he's coming in for limited purposes and not completely relinquishing authority, then I don't think it's this appropriate place. If there's still things that you need to resolve that may need to be achieved in a different court, maybe even a probate or a state court, because of the death of your late husband. So for this evening, and from the view that I've received, and there's no lease, no real agreement other than to come in and pastor, that's not the same as having relinquished authority for this place. I just don't think it's appropriate. I'm not saying, Miss Mitchell, that you may not be correct, that this is your place and you own the church or the physical location. That could be true. Yes. But saying that he's evicted or dispossessed, he's not quite in possession. He may have access, which you've given him access, assumingly, but to say that he's actually a tenant of yours, I don't think that that's applicable. You don't have a lease. You haven't said, hey, you can set up your own ministry and I'm leasing you this property, this church, and you're going to pay us a certain amount of money, or you don't even have to pay us money, but you're allowed to do this. If you want him to stop, at minimum, even if this was a landlord-tenant situation, without a written lease and without an agreed amount of money, you would at least needed to give him 60 days notice, written notice, confirming your intent to cancel. So I'm going to tell you, other than my initial belief that this isn't appropriate here, I don't think it's even best for us to put it in person, because I can tell that whatever I find out is going to more make me feel like this isn't the best court for this issue. Again, Ms. Mitchell, I'm not saying that whatever you're saying isn't correct. And Pastor Robinson, Mr. Robinson, I'm not saying all what's going on. You guys seem to at least be in agreement that you are there to come pastor the church. So, but if this doesn't concern a parsonage, a specific property in which you have full control over, I just don't think it's appropriate for us to deal with it here in dispossessory. Okay.
Okay, so as I wanted to just clarify the reason why we are here is because the cops was called in when I served the notice, and so the cops directed me to the court to
file
file
a dispossessory.
So I understand this might not be the place, but could you tell me which court or how I should proceed with this? I have my lawyer. He could not be here tonight. So could you tell me how I proceed with this?
I'll be frank. I'll be honest with you. This could turn into a landlord-tenant relationship potentially, depending upon how certain things. I can see how it is if he's got a key and you're saying you're the owner and you want him to give back the key and not have a particular an agreement. But from what it sounds like, you haven't set that out. You haven't laid that out. Moreover, you haven't given him what it sounds like, any legal notice of your cancellation of your agreement about his access and what he's doing. And I'm not gonna lie to you, if he's leading the flock, some of that might be up to the parishioners or those other folks, but I don't want to get deep into you guys' business. So for the purposes of today, I'm going to dismiss it. Now, I'm not telling you, Ms. Mitchell, that you may not be able to bring it again if certain things are done, but based upon what I've heard today, there's no written nor agreed clear landlord-tenant relationship. And even if there was, you haven't set out any notice that identifies what you're demanding him to do, whether that's vacate, give back key, or whatever it is, okay? And that would need to be achieved before I can set out some type of eviction, because he really doesn't possess the property. I think he just has access to the property.
I did give him notice to vacate the place, but not 60 days.
Yeah. Well, I think that's something that might need to be achieved. And if it's merely a key situation, you guys might want to talk about that. But I don't think that's going to be achieved this evening. So I am going to dismiss it. Again, maybe listen, y'all Christians, y'all should not be using me to resolve these issues. I don't want to go there, but I'm frank. Even Christians have business issues that come in dispute. But I do believe you guys might be able to come to a resolution. And if not, I guess I'll see you again. Okay.
Thank you.
And Mr. Robinson, yes, last thing.
Yeah, I haven't said anything, so I just want to make a small correction.
Sure.
To state that it was stated I was invited to come and assist with the ministry in January of 2023. I just want to say, because we did swear to tell the truth on the oath, right? We have board meeting minutes, which Ms. Weta held the board meeting on November 21st, 2022, positioning me to the board to be the pastor of True Tabernacle. I was already assisting since April of 2022, having helped the church, driving back and forth from Florida to assist this ministry for 7 months, praying and fasting on whether or not we should pastor this church. On November 21st, 2022, the board voted in the affirmative unanimously, with her leading that board meeting, that I should be voted in as the pastor. It was presented to the church December 4th, voted by the church approved. I was notified December 11th. So this is, again, just to set the record straight.
I understand.
I agree with you 1000%. According to the bylaws established by this church, which is the governing documents, we should never be in a courtroom. I've extended that opportunity. This is absolutely unchristian, unbiblical, and I hope that we can get this dealt with outside of the law. But if it goes forward, then we will be ready to represent the church appropriately.
Well, it's all right.
Right. So, Your Honor, there was no agreement between me and Dr. Robinson.
So that's fine. And listen, folks, things happen. You know, like I said, even Christians needed judges at some point in the history. So it's okay. Hopefully you guys can get it resolved. But if not, we'll be here to help you guys in the future. All right. So we will let you guys go. We'll be dismissed for this evening, and you guys have a blessed evening. All right.
Thank you. All right.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. All right. And I believe that concludes all our matters, and we can end live recording.